I was a kid that I was a sugar-holic, you might say. I liked chocolate cake and chocolate frosting with chocolate sprinkles and chocolate ice cream on top. And I lived for cupcakes and pizza, and I grew up on a lot of junk food. And I walked around with mystery ailments all the time. I always had dark circles. I was getting sick all the time. I had crazy hives. When I was a teenager, I'd had these horrible stomach aches where I'd start vomiting and like all these weird things, and they go, it's just stress, it's just stress, it's just stress. They never started connecting dots. Maybe I wasn't eating really healthy. Maybe I wasn't sleeping, maybe all those things. And so when I never got answers. All I heard was, we don't know, from doctors. So when I started doing this research and I started reading and I started interviewing my family members and relatives and trying to find a family history, and I went to the bottles of prescriptions that the doctors prescribed that I wouldn't take, and I go, what is this? Like, what is this? They're prescribing something for anxiety? Like, I don't have anxiety. I'm like the coolest cucumber on the planet. Like, what's going on here? And I realized, like, wow, I was just putting it back in. I was just like, I'm strong, I'm tough, I got this. And it was eating me up on the inside because I wasn't able to show my vulnerabilities, basically. So when I started doing this research, the first thing I found, I started reading about migraines quite a bit. I never had a migraine headache. And I read everything about migraines because I heard there was something called an ocular migraine, and that had something to do with my stroke-like incident. And while I was reading this great book by Oliver Sacks, there was one line in the book that said, sometimes when an adult has migraines and they had violent stomach aches with vomiting as a teenager, they had something called abdominal migraines. And I was like, oh my God, I'm in my 30s by this point. I hadn't ever known. And I said, there's answers to everything. You just got to find them. And once I had that, there was no stopping me. I was like, I'm going to figure out all this stuff. And I did. I figured out everything. I figured out what happened, what went wrong, and how to get better. And the truth is, it's like you put on that detective cap and you do experiments and you figure it out. And all of us can do that. And that's what this is about. This isn't going to tell you what to eat and what not to eat. It'll give you some ideas. But this is going to tell you how you can put on your own detective cap and say, what's not feeling right in my body? And how can I figure out how to feel good in my body? Because we're only here a short time. We want to feel good, right? We want to thrive. And we all deserve to feel great. So I want to give you those tools.